All right, so 2 people on the set today.
Just the 2 of us.
Oh, okay. We're getting the vocals going on the Monday morning. Adrian has the week off this episode off, really, because he's got a baseball game out in Concord.
Right.
But he will be with us Friday, and we're not going to be in the studio.
No, big news.
Yes, big news. We'll talk more about that later on in the podcast. But welcome to the Cover Cal High podcast. I'm your host, Jake Vanderbrook, alongside Tyler Flipson. So there's the salute, representing Adrian. Yep, the Milpitas man. And speaking of the Milpitas man, he gave us updated polls to start. So we're going to start with the polls.
This is great. We could talk all the mess we want about him without him here.
Exactly, right? Yeah. No, I'm about it. So starting off with baseball. So we have a new number 1 team.
That's right, we do.
The Granada Matadors.
That's huge. I mean, for them to come sweeping in, they have a great team. Especially the way they played last year. I didn't know if they're going to be able to run it back,
Yeah.
Trending that way.
The defending NCS and NorCal D1 champs.
Yep.
Hey, they're back to number 1. Great week for them. They swept Amador Valley, and they beat Pittsburgh that Tuesday game that I shot at Pittsburgh, so that was a good win for those Matadors. De La Salle, great week for them. They swept Monte Vista, and then they had a game Friday where they rolled past Monte Vista. 22-3 was the final for that home game that they played. And then Sarah, the WCAL, the chaos that is taking place over there. They split Valley Christian, and then on last Saturday, they beat St. Ignatius 9-6. Those teams will go at it on Tuesday, and as a matter of fact, that is going to be our Crumble Cookies game of the week.
Rumble for the crumble.
Rumble for the crumble. And then we got St. Francis at number 4. They had a split with Bellarmine, and then on Saturday, they beat Reardon 1-0. Yeah. St. Francis and Reardon will play again on Tuesday. Lee, the Longhorns, they crack the top 5. You must be happy about that.
It's about time. I've been bugging Adrian about it.
Yep. So
they see those boys doing well.
Yep, swept Leland. Clayton Valley at number 6. They're unbeaten, by the way.
That's awesome, dude. I mean, it's really cool to see again. Another great team that, honestly, did they have that kind of team last year too? I mean, were they trending the same way?
Clayton Valley is always a solid team.
Solid, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, unbeaten. And I mean, a little low to be unbeaten. But again, I know Adrian asked me, he's like, who are you going to put him against, right? Who are you going to put him above? Sorry.
For sure. Valley Christian at number 7. Split with Sarah. They beat Mitty last Saturday. So they're at number 7. Pittsburgh, they had that one game. And this was a good test for Pittsburgh, I thought. They're a very good baseball team. And they were entering last week unbeaten with 11-0. They took that tough loss to Granada. But I thought Pittsburgh played really hard.
Yeah, I mean, the Pirates are balling, right? You know, they play hard.
Yeah.
Again, another great team. It's probably an unfortunate loss for them. They probably feel like they should have had that one. But again, Granada's a fantastic team. So, you know, wouldn't count them out.
Yeah, and you can't count out Acalanes.
Nope.
Never. They're at number 9, and, soon enough, they're going to be starting league play when you got Benicia, Clayton Valley, Campo Lindo, College Park. When you have those teams that are going to be in the mix along with Alhambra, I mean, you never know what to expect out of that Diablo League showdown.
Absolutely,
no question. And then Piedmont, still at number 10.
Yep.
They had a great week. They beat Arroyo. They beat Concord. And as a matter of fact, the Milpitas man right now, I mean, this is Monday that we're doing this podcast. He's just 90 minutes away from first pitch as Piedmont takes on Encinal in Concord, so that's going to be a really good
Monday
game.
morning baseball.
I'm about it.
I kind of like it.
I'm about it.
Great for the show, get it out of the way.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And
so when you look at these 10 teams, Tyler, what do you agree with? What do you disagree with?
I'm actually humbly shocked to say I agree with a lot of this poll. It's again, who do you move? Anyone inside of that top 6? Top 7, who do you move? I mean, there's a lot of great teams, and that's why we always joke about how massive this bubble is, right? That we haven't mentioned, but just a few teams mentioned is Hollister, Los Gatos, SI, Cardinal Newman, Benicia, and the list goes on. I'm not going to list them all. Point is, who do you throw in there? Who do you put above, one or the other? Because at the end of the day, it's just so tough, and it's great for content for these teams and how exciting it is, I agree with this poll. It's a strong poll with a lot of strong teams in there. I don't think I'd move anyone personally.
I think you could make a case with Acalanes getting out of the poll and going to a strong bubble and putting Los Gatos in there.
Sure, I can see that.
And the reason why is because they swept Mountain View. That was a huge series for them. So you play 2 days of one game.
It's insane. 3 days in a row, not to mention.
And 3 days in a row because they played Friday, and that was just your typical 7 innings of baseball.
Yeah,
shockingly, right?
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that with our views from the lens later on in the podcast, but that was a great week for LG.
It really was.
I thought you could make a case for them to be in the top 10 poll, but hey, they're still a strong bubble, and they're playing really well this season.
Yeah, and you know what? What I have to mention about LG is that their pitching's exceptional. I saw multiple pitchers come through that team through the 2 days shooting them, and they can throw that ball so darn well. And that's saying it in the most simple ways, and that's an understatement, right?
Yeah.
Every single one of their pitchers are great. So I mean, darn good team, and I would agree. Yeah, it's tough. You know, all those bubble teams, and I think there's even a couple missing from the bubble.
Right.
I think that deserve to be in that top 10 is just so tough at the end of the day.
Okay, so let's move over to softball.
Yeah.
So
More chaos.
And you know, a lot of these teams are going to be playing in a big tournament that we're going to be talking about later on. And there's going to be some major shakeup with the poll by the end of this week. And I have a good feeling that Adrian's going to go nuts.
Oh, probably. He always does.
Yeah.
His entire weekend gets thrown off where he sits there staring at his poll. Instead of having some weekend fun, taking time away from work. No.
Yeah. No. Yep.
Goes
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. But he has major headaches from shaking the
think
major.
He's a live oak acorn because he's going nuts. Did I go nuts?
That was good. That was good.
Thank
That
you.
was good.
Thank you.
That was good. Okay, so softball, we got St. Francis at number 1. Now, they played in the Carew Classic down in SoCal last week. They went 3-2 overall, 6th place in the tournament out of 32 teams. I mean, there's a lot of good teams down there.
I mean, that's huge. Out of 32 to be able to make that top 10 is awesome.
Yep. So St. Francis still at number 1. Willow Glen, they remain unbeaten, and the one and only Aubrey Tolliver shot a great Willow Glen Gilroy showdown, and hey, those Rams hung on to beat those Mustangs.
I know, they're on to something. It's great to see that, you know, because all love to the Dub Cal without a doubt, you know, and they're always a powerhouse team. So when I see, you know, a CCS, and not just CCS, but, you know, a public school that's not the Dub Cal, essentially, up there, a powerhouse team that matches these Dub Cal teams, it's awesome. I think it's super cool.
Hey, the one major dark horse that I mentioned out of the East Bay League this season, be on the lookout for California. They are sneaky good. They weren't even a bubble team last week, and now, hey, hello, California making a statement, and they're number 3 on this poll.
That's crazy. That's the one thing I will say is how volatile Adrian's poll can be. How a team can go from a top 3 team out of the poll or not in the poll at all to rifling up top 3, which I agree, though. Cal deserves to be in this.
Yep.
And they are definitely sneaky good. You've said this multiple times before, so I'm glad to see
and
it.
all throughout the season, I'm like, hey, be on the lookout for Cal. Be on the lookout for Cal. And, you know, I thought they were going to be a bubble team entering last week, and it's like, really? They're not a bubble team, Adrian?
Right.
Come on, man. But they had an amazing week. They beat Carondelet 10-3 at Carondelet, and then the next game they faced Foothill, and Foothill's a great team, by the way.
Yeah.
10-2 was the final.
Yeah.
So, you know, the Bats are coming alive. Jada Crosby has been sensational for those Grizzlies. She's going to be heading to Fresno State next year to play collegiate softball. So good for her and good for this Cal Grizzlies team that, hey, they're making a lot of noise, and I told you guys.
Trending.
Yep.
You're right.
Absolutely. Livermore, obviously, they have been playing some wonderful softball. They did have a tough week, though. They lost to Granada.
Yeah.
You know, big rivalry showdown. They lost a tough one. The Granada 3-2 was the final, but then obviously they brought that energy in the next game, rolling past Dublin 10-0.
Yeah. No, it's that, like you mentioned, when we get to this point in the season, you know, that just over the halfway point of the season, anything can happen. All these games matter to the highest extent, you know, and especially in these leagues. It's just crazy how tight these league races can get.
Right. Absolutely. Castro Valley at number 5. They lost to Liberty, and they also beat Northgate. So they went 1-1 in the week. So as of right now, Castro Valley, according to Adrian, stays at number 5.
They float.
James Logan has been dominating the Mission Valley League. Great week for them, and that included a 7-2 victory over Newark Memorial last week. So they're at number 6. Alameda, great week for them. Huge week for them, as a matter of fact. I mean, they had some big whack showdowns, and our Nikon Shadouse covered Alameda O'Dowd for the Crumble Cookies game of the week last week, and that was a big win for Alameda to take down O'Dowd. And then they were able to beat Encinal, which, that's their other rivals, you know. So great week for Alameda. They're at number 7. Valley Christian. Oh, goodness. A statement victory for Valley Christian, especially this past Friday. Aubrey was at another good softball game.
Had a lot of good softball.
Yeah, she did. So 2-1 over the Midi Monarchs.
Huge.
Huge.
There's no other word other for that.
And that was Valley Christian's first victory over Midi since 2019.
Wow.
2019, 6 years.
I'll tell you what that can do for a team is, again, huge. The momentum switch, when you play against a team like that, knowing how good they are, you haven't won in a long time, and you're able to go do that, that can really fuel your league race push late in the season. Absolutely.
So Valley Christian number 8, Midi at number 9. Yes, they took that tough loss to Valley Christian, but then they rolled past Presentation. I think 25-1 was the final in that. So Midi at number 9, and then Bishop O'Dowd hanging tough at number 10. We mentioned they did lose to Alameda last Thursday in our Crumble Cookies game of the week, and then they beat Arroyo. So
that's right.
Bishop O'Dowd at number 10. And once again, Mills is still in the bubble. I thought Mills would be in.
I know, me too. You read my mind. I thought they're maybe going to find their bite into the bottom part of the poll, but still in the bubble.
Yeah, and maybe you could even make a case for Granada.
Yeah.
Because they had a great week as well.
I was really actually going to say those first 3 teams here on the bubble, Mills, Foothill, Granada. All 3 of those teams, I think, absolutely do have a bid in this bottom part of the poll, but it's the exact same thing as baseball, right? Who do you take out? Who do you move there? I think maybe the bottom third of that poll could be adjusted, maybe. But again, you could bid a case for all these teams of why they deserve a piece of the top 10.
And I was surprised that Liberty is still in the bubble.
Hanging on in the
bubble.
They're
still in the bubble. I think they should be a top 10 team.
Yeah.
I really do. I think their win against Castro Valley, Liberty is sneaky good. Mm-hmm. And I said it earlier this season that, yes, they play in the Bay Valley League, and their test is usually freedom and heritage, but Liberty is a strong team.
Yeah.
And they're very young.
Right.
And their coaching over there is sensational. They do a really good job over there. And as a matter of fact, Liberty, they're going to be competing in the Livermore Stampede. And, we're going to really find out a lot about these teams when they approach this tournament. So let's talk more about the Livermore Stampede.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so we have 16 teams.
A lot of teams.
Livermore Stampede.
The fact, how cool it is, all these teams that come together, right? Because there's some matchups that you wouldn't see without this tournament, I think.
Right.
And so it's really cool to showcase this. And then even then, some teams that see each other often. So let's dive into it.
Okay, so we're gonna go through all the pools. So we got 4 pool divisions, and each pool has 4 teams. So I mentioned 16 teams, and then 4 pool teams.
Quick math.
Do the math. Quick math. So 4 teams in each pool. So starting off with Pool A, we got Alameda, Freedom, Livermore, and Whitney from the Sac Joaquin section. Pool B, we got Archbishop Midi, California, Liberty, and Sheldon. That's going to be a very exciting Pool B.
So fun.
Yep. Pool C, Amador Valley, College Park, Casa Grande, the D2 state D2 NCS champs. I wanted to say CCS for some reason, but they are the NCS D2 champs from last season. They went on to beat Livermore last year, and then SRV.
That's right.
So that's Pool C, and then Pool D, Benicia, Carondelet, St. Francis, and Granada. That's another tough pool division.
I think all those are tough. Every single one.
Yep.
And not to mention, in the Stampede's a multi-day event, right?
It starts on Thursday. Right. Pool play goes from Thursday all the way till the end of Friday. And then Saturday, that's when they set up the brackets.
Got it.
Yep.
Comes down and then the finals from there.
Yep. Absolutely. So, out of all 16 teams, let's do this. What's the one team you're looking forward to seeing?
Personally, I'm going to take one out of your book, and it's Cal.
Yep.
How sneaky good they are, and the way that they're trending, the way that they're balling and getting it done. I'm excited to see them because I haven't got to see them this season, but we've been having a lot of talk about them. So I'm looking forward to that. And then if I have to put a secondary one, it has to be Livermore. At the end of the day. You know, it's a home game for them. You know, home field advantage, if you will. You know, so I'm excited to see them as well. Those Cowboys out there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Cal. I'm looking forward to seeing Liberty. And as a matter of fact, that Thursday afternoon game, California faces Liberty.
Yep.
I am covering that. That's going to be a very exciting game.
Yeah. Now
the interesting part of this throughout the whole Stampede is that all these games, you know, some of these games may not even go to 7 innings because it's timed.
Right.
So you got to keep that in mind. That's also going to be a factor. So it's going to be very important for these teams to get off to fast starts.
You're almost seeing a pitch clock in high school.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, really, seriously.
It's going to be some quick ball, which I'm all for. I love it.
I am all for it. It's like, I don't have to worry about 2.5 hours of
Exactly.
softball. It's like, okay, hour 30. It's either hour 30, hour 45, but once that time is up, you move on to the next game.
Exactly, yeah. So they'll just take whatever the score is at, whether it's a tie or whoever's up at that point in time, and then that's it?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, got
I
it.
believe so.
All
And
right,
then
all right.
also keep in mind, so I mentioned Cal and Liberty. I think those are the two teams to watch out for. But I'm very excited to see St. Francis.
Of course.
St. Francis, I mean, they're a powerhouse.
You know what'd be fun just to throw, speaking of powerhouses, just to throw a wrench in the mix is somehow Willow Glen could get a bid into this tournament.
Oh, if they could, yeah.
If they could.
could.
Just another powerhouse team,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
I feel like if anyone deserves a spot in this, it's them, you know?
Yeah.
Given they're having a great season this year.
I
but-
mean, this is a revenge season for St. Francis.
It is.
I mean, yes, they were the CCS champs, but they got knocked out of the first round
Right.
in NorCal's, losing to Amador Valley.
Yeah.
And, you know, St. Francis is playing some wonderful softball. They do have a couple losses from this past weekend. But, again, they were down in SoCal, and that was a really tough tournament that they were in, right? I think this is a revenge tour for St. Francis.
It is.
And I think they're going to make a lot of noise in the Stampede.
I think so too, because I mean, at the end of the day, with teams, especially in the Dub Cal and teams like St. Francis's, league titles are great. CCS championships are great,
Right.
But they want state titles. That's
Well,
like
you can't get state. Softball and baseball don't have state. It's NorCal.
NorCal
Yep.
titles, to be more specific. Right.
Right.
That's what they're there for.
Right.
You know, because I mean, that's their Super Bowl to them. You know.
Yep.
They want those big name titles, and if they fall short of that, I could imagine they feel like that was a failure to their season. You know, they want, again, the big title.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
think I totally agree with you. Revenge tour.
And, you know, I thought for St. Francis, this was a wonderful tournament for them to compete in this past weekend. You get that good experience to prepare for tournaments like the Livermore Stampede league play because they're going to have to face Mitty twice. They're going to have to face Valley Christian twice. So they're going to have some big league games coming up, and then also CCS and NorCal. So I thought this was a wonderful tournament for St. Francis to compete in and to come to play 6th place out of 32 teams. I think that's spectacular.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So, and they start play Thursday for the Stampede?
Yep, so Thursday morning, and they go until sunset.
Right.
Sunset, and then they do it again on Friday for pool play, and then
Saturday final.
And then
hey, they're lined up with the Masters. They know what they're doing. It's Masters week, and they're lined up with Masters play. How dare they?
Yep. And yeah, and speaking about that, we're doing a podcast.
Woo! There's your big
at
news,
the
baby.
Stampede. That is your big news. So Friday we will be there. We're going to be going through all the games. We're going to be interviewing some of the players from a lot of these schools. So we get to know more about these teams, you know, more about the expectations for this season, more about the team dynamic, the chemistry, and, you know, it's going to be a very exciting tournament.
I can't wait. I mean, it's a totally different format for our podcast that we haven't done before.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, if you guys are out there, we encourage, you know, a live audience, if we will. Come on out. We're going to have a tent set up, and it's going to be cool to interview all these different players, and it almost feels like, in a way, we're going to be live, if you will.
I heard they were going to have tri-tip there.
That's right. That's right. I mean, we gotta showcase some food, you know?
Yeah,
We're gonna
no,
be talking about softball, we're gonna
Yeah.
be talking about coaching, we're gonna talk about league races. We
Yep.
gotta talk about some food.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I mean, we've had Valley Christian tri-tip. We've had Pitt tri-tip. Salinas has some good tri-tip down south. And then, hey, Livermore tri-tip.
There we go.
Okay. Okay. And it's going to be a very exciting tournament. And,
Yeah.
and don't be surprised if there's a lot of scouts
Sure.
for this. I mean, this is the best in NorCal right here.
That's right.
This is the best in NorCal. And I mean, there's some teams that are left out. I mean, obviously, but I mean, this is 16 teams that can make a run for section titles and NorCal titles. No doubt about it.
Yeah. And this tournament always has so much meaning, with the fact that, and it's just funny because most tournaments are like, oh, it's just another tournament, just get your feet kind of underneath you and collect whatever wins you can get, to help give you that confidence into late in the season. But if you're able to collect those, what it comes down to is Livermore Stampede is such a big deal.
It is.
Teams. That's
It's
what I'm
huge.
ultimately getting at. To them, it's more than just another tournament. It's the Stampede.
Yeah. And it's huge because last year they didn't have this tournament.
Right.
I mean, it rained out, and it
Such
was
a bummer.
so unfortunate. I mean, we all look forward to this tournament.
we do.
I mean, this is the best of the best in NorCal softball. So getting the opportunity to go out, shoot multiple games, and to do a podcast out here.
That's right.
I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah. And so to break down, too, of our podcast coverage of the Stampede, too,
Yep.
we'll be out there Friday, like we said, and then it's going to be, we encourage you guys to come on out, come on by, check out the show, see how it's done.
Absolutely.
And then on top of that, so then we intend to have the coverage of the podcast on Friday should be aired by Saturday next day is what we're hoping for.
That is correct. That is correct. And
So it's going to be big. I'm
Yeah.
really excited to have that coverage and the opportunity for all the directors and coordinators for the Stampede to get us out there to make that happen.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one-on-one coverage, and I'm pretty excited for it.
absolutely. And like I said, it's going to be a wonderful tournament. It always is. I mean,
Always
there's a
is.
reason why it's called a Stampede.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
So, time now for our views from the lens, our best moments from last week. Tyler, take it away, my man.
Let me tell you, I think I'm still tired from this game. It's obviously Mountain View and Los Gatos. And now what I'm going to lead off with is I had some time to reflect on it. In my multi-year career with Cal High Sports and all the games I've covered, I don't even know how many games I've covered across all sports. I think this is my favorite game of all time. And I'm a football-minded guy. You think I'm biased with football, and I would take a football game over this. That game was sensational. It was so fun. So Mountain View, Los Gatos, 2 days and 15 innings. We go through 11 innings, day one, and then we go into the next day to go all the way to the 15th, bottom of the 15th. Not even, it's just wild. So absolutely sensational. We have, I always want to call him Dwight Yoakam for some reason, but it's Xander Yoakam.
Yeah.
Xander Yoakam, grand slam. Not only just a grand slam, but it's his first career home run, too. What a way to do it.
Yeah. That kid, he can hit.
He can rip. There's some power behind that swing.
Yep.
And then Los Gatos answers. They rally all the way back. I thought the game was over. It was 5-1 after that, and I thought the game was over. In the next frame, they answer, score 4 runs to tie it up, and then every inning, Mountain View would score, and Los Gatos would match. It was never an up. It was always just a match, 1 run, 1 run, scoreless, scoreless. And go all the way in the second day, and just the walk-off finish was sensational.
Yeah.
So fun.
And like I said, that was a great week for Los Gatos, and to power through playing 2 days with just that one game to finish on a walk-off, and then Friday going to Mountain View to beat those Spartans. That was huge for Los Gatos, a huge week for them. And then you talk about Xander Yoakam. He brings a great bat.
He does.
He, like you said, he can rip it. When I covered Mountain View against Carlmont, and I'm like, I see him hitting the batting seventh, and I'm like,
it's crazy. I think he should be higher up there in batting order.
well, you got to think about it from a strategic standpoint.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
He's got to bring something to the bottom of that order.
Yeah.
That's got to be the strategic mindset that Mountain View provides. And I think if Yoakam can do that, go for it, right?
I think I like him better, though. If it were me, no disrespect to Mountain View's choices with their batting order and stuff like that. But with a guy like Xander Yoakam, if you look at his batting average, the stats are there to support it. The power in his swing, if he gets a hold of that ball, it's trouble.
Right.
I'm putting him in the 4 or 5 spot,
Okay.
I like him a little higher up there. Cleanup hitter, just
Sure.
I just think, in that 7th spot, it's a little interesting, but, he definitely does bring something to the bottom of the order, like you said. And not to mention, he's also a sophomore.
Yeah.
A sophomore.
Just a sophomore.
Just a sophomore. And he's playing the way that he is, as young as he is. So he's going to have a full career at Mountain View with a lot of swinging that bat.
And he's going to get some looks.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
From a recruiting standpoint, he's definitely going to get some looks.
Yeah.
No question about it. But, yeah, that was a great game, great series for that Mountain View Los Gatos. But I got to go lacrosse. Girls lacrosse. I mean, the best of the best in the CCS.
Yeah.
St. Ignatius, Sacred Heart Prep. I mean, this looked like a game going into halftime that SI was going to roll past Sacred Heart Prep. But Sacred Heart Prep made it one heck of a game in the second half. I mean, St. Ignatius was only up by 3 goals entering the 4th quarter. Then Sacred Heart Prep goes on this big run. And it turned out to be an amazing game.
Yeah.
Amazing game. SHP, they were able to force overtime, but in that final frame, St. Ignatius was able to do just enough to take down SHP on the road. Shout out Sophie Gauche. Oh my goodness. 9 goals. 9 goals. She is very explosive, and everything was just clicking for her. Everything.
If I'm not mistaken, this game you're talking about that you covered with SHP and SI girls lacrosse was the same day as my 12-inning game. Day 1 of my game of Los Gatos Mountain View. 2 fantastic games on the same day. Something was in the air that day.
Yeah, no, something was in the air, but that was some great quality of lacrosse right there.
It was so fun.
I'm looking forward to when these teams play again later on in the season. And if I recall correctly, they play on May 2nd. But the game will be at SI, and don't be surprised, like last year and the year before, that these 2 teams will face each other in the CCSD 1 title game.
Yeah, I'll call it now. They're seeing each other again.
Yeah.
They're seeing each other again.
Yeah, and it's great lacrosse. I mean, there's a reason why you have these athletes that are going to be playing D1 lacrosse, and they go out east or they stay out here. I think Sophie Gauche, if I recall correctly, she committed to Stanford. So, she's going to be staying out here.
That's a great program there.
Yeah, great program. And then, obviously with SHP, I mean, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. I mean, this was a tough loss that they took on their home field, but look for those Gators to bounce back.
Absolutely. I want to backtrack here a little bit, so excuse me for bouncing around, but going back to Los Gatos baseball, I have to mention too is specifically Trey Golino. In day 1 of that game, I would be doing a disservice not to mention. He throws heat, first of all.
Yeah.
And I want to say he pitched 5-ish innings, something like that. I forget exactly how many innings. 8 strikeouts, and he's a big reason because Mountain View had their bats going.
Yeah.
But when he came in to close out that game, and he finished all the way to the 12th inning.
Sure.
He's a big reason Los Gatos is in it. I mean, I mentioned at the top of the show Los Gatos pitchers. Their pitchers were a big reason for the game that they had, And Trey Golino specifically was sensational. Was fun to watch, and the energy he brought. The next day he didn't pitch, but he was in that dugout all kinds of rowdy. He talked. The second I got there, he was chirping me, saying, "So good you had to come back, huh? Overtime pay 2 days, right?" I was like, "Yeah, totally. That's how that works." Great guy, great team, and just a fantastic pitcher too. And I think Cal Berkeley commit.
Yeah.
Berkeley commit. So,
good stuff.
Had to mention him. I'd be doing disservice not to mention him.
Yeah. No, obviously, like I said, great win for LG. SI Lacrosse, that was a great win for them. And I think that about wraps it.
Yep. We got a big week.
Yeah, big week. We'll see you in Livermore on Friday for the 2025 Livermore Stampede, the best of the best in NorCal softball. And it's safe to say,
do it to him. Do it to him.
I haven't done this in a while.
I know it's been a while. Let's see your shot.
You've been covered.
All right, look for you.
All right.